Velocity Mooney, peace and blessings. Um, it's really important to have a at least basic level of astronomical knowledge in order to be able to properly, successfully interpret, the astrological influence of the planetary bodies and celestial spheres and whatnot, right? You feel me? Because it's like you got to take in the fact that not only is the regular natal chart configuration a part of the story, but you really got to step outside of that and like, get to seeing like, the exact uh position or the exact relationships that the planets are casting upon each other astronomically. You feel me? Because like when it comes to our solar system is not just a two-dimensional heliocentric model. Like every planet is on the same level or on the same plateau or on the same parallel, and you feel me, pretty much orbiting and oscillating around the sun. And this system is just stationary. That's not the case. You feel me? This the sun included. You feel me? We're all projecting through space, and not only is there a distance, I guess you could say in length and width from each other, like it would be on a two-dimensional model. There's also a distance of depth, right? There are planets that are above each other and planets that are below each other. It's like a ladder of some sort, a DNA helix, if you will, right? And this matters. This very much so matters because you want to take into account the distance that a planet has from Earth and the angle, right? You want to take into account the angle that this planet's light and this planet's radiation is casting upon the earth. You want to take into account all the small factors, all the complexities, you feel me, shit that I ain't even mentioning and whatnot, et cetera, et cetera. You want to take into account all of these things to get a more clear depiction or a more clear interpretation as to how this particular thing is influencing you, right? And what's crazy is even in the ancient yogic scriptures or the ancient, you feel me, scriptures of the rishis, ancient scriptures of the sages and whatnot, the Munis, all that. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, which was written by Sage Vyasa, he pretty much gave niggas the source. He already told niggas that from thousands and thousands of years ago, right? He already told niggas that the planets sit on top of each other. It's in the Bhagavatam. You can go find this shit and check this shit out yourself. You know, um, he gave a description of how Mercury is so and so millions of miles above the Earth, and how Venus is so and so millions of miles above Mercury, and the Sun and Mars, Saturn, all the different relationships of the planets. They even mention the influence of Neptune and fucking Uranus, right? Before the thousands and thousands of years these bodies were ever discovered and whatnot, right? But people want to so-called say that uh we are the most advanced civilization, or we are the most advanced point of humanity uh that humanity has ever reached or whatnot, right? Which is just can't be true. It's just totally true. But that's a whole different discussion. But getting back to the point, right? He pretty much gave the knowledge that the planets sit on top of each other, not right on top of each other, but it's a ladder of some sort. Like I said, it's a DNA helix, right? And just to put in perspective of why the distance of the planets from Earth matter, right? So, excuse me, let's take Mars as an example. So, the average difference between Mars and Earth it's like 140 million miles. It does vary. It's not stationary. Mars is not just locked in at one particular place. You feel me? It can vary anywhere from 35 million, around 35, approximately 35 million miles to like 250 million miles. This is just an approximate estimate, right? Uh, but yeah, so that's anywhere from there Mars can be. So you can have a person, for example, who has Mars in Pisces, you know, or right, Mars and Pisces, but is Mars and Pisces 250 million miles away from the Earth, or is Mars and Pisces 35 million miles away from the Earth? Is it 80 million miles away from the Earth? You feel me? Not only that, you know, uh, is Mars above the celestial equator? Is it below the equator? You know what I'm saying? Like it's different things that have to be taken into account. Like where on the earth are you born? Are you born in the northern hemisphere? Are you born in the southern hemisphere? Were you born in the daytime? Were you born in the nighttime? Right? It's so many different things, so many different angles, so many different complexities to take into play as to how this particular Mars will influence this individual's life, right? And but getting back to Mars, right? So 35 million to 250 million miles, right? So I did some research to try to see when was the last time Mars was closest to the Earth, right? So Mars was last closest to the Earth on August 27, 2003, a distance of 34.65 million miles, right? The closest that it's been in 60,000 years, which is fucking crazy. Uh, so I did some more research to see what exactly happened in August of 2003. And not just August, pretty much that year. And yeah, pretty much that year. For it to have gotten that close, like 6 months before and after, it was at a relatively close distance to the Earth's still. Still, right? I won't say 6 months. I mean like just heard something. But nah, relatively close place from like 3 to 6 months before and 3 to 6 months after. You feel me? I said that's a close for it to have been that close. Mars pretty much was still in that same line of proximity, if y'all understand what I'm trying to say. But moving on, right? So what was so special about 2003? Not only 2003, but what was so special about this particular month of August, right? So looked up some events. There's a major blackout affecting 50 million people. A Baghdad bombing, suicide bombing killed 22 humanitarian workers. Brazilian rocket exploded, killing 22 people. Volcano erupted, Uh, wildfire forcing the evacuation of 10,000 people. Uh, Episcopal Church, gay nigga. Uh, those were just some a truck bomb deploys in a military hospital. 52, 1 and 82. So it's a lot of shit that happened in August of 2003. A lot more shit. But what was really special about this particular year, this was the year that signified the US first starting off the conflict with Iraq, right? The invasion with Iraq, right? Which was a major thing in history, right? So US led invasion of Iraq, the end of the Space Shuttle Columbia mission with the loss of its crew, yada yada. The beginning of the war in Darfur. So Darfur was like a genocide of some sort, right? For those who don't know. But pretty much just saying, just showcasing this was a lit time, and this is the time that this is one of the periods that Mars was closest to the Earth, right? So this was a lit time for Martian type of activity, fires, explosions, war, death, chaos, yada yada yada, etc., etc. Not only that, also could signify certain types of advancements, reinforcement of military strength, discipline, yada yada yada, etc., etc. So, but it's showing, through the closeness and proximity of Mars that uh there were it was a sort of heightened activity in relation to the qualities of Mars, right? And I went to check some events like, okay, so COVID. When COVID happened, how close was Mars to the Earth? How close was? I hope don't know wild shit pop up in my search for real, cause I do be searching for some wild shit. How close was Mars to Earth, Jan 2020? So Mars is like 38.57 million miles closer or close to Earth during COVID scandal. During the whole world, you know, pretty much one of the craziest moments within, the past couple hundred years of human history, right? Mars, 38.57 million miles away from Earth. That's relatively close. You feel me? Seeing that the farthest that Mars can get away is 250 miles, right? And when you look at the particular sign that Mars was posited in, plus the planets that it was conjunct, it gives even a further story as to why, this COVID lockdown situation happened. Um, Mars at that particular time was in the sign of Capricorn, right? Sidereally, when COVID took place. I remember it because I actually, before the shit started, before, like 6 months, some months before, it might have been a whole year, but many months before the shit started, maybe a whole year, I seen this alignment coming, and I knew this was going to be a majorly fucking crazy alignment or phenomenon to take place. I probably, I might have, I probably got the goddamn timestamp on Facebook or something. I probably can goddamn go clip that shit for real. I'm gonna try to look for it. I should have it. But yeah, yeah, I seen this shit coming. I knew it was gonna be some crazy shit. You feel me? And Capricorn. When it comes to the sign of Capricorn itself, Capricorn it can represent that cold winter, slow down, lockdown, shut down type of activity. You know what I'm saying? It can represent Saturnian energy, which is like deep levels of control, pause, discipline, structure, limitation, all that. And at the time this COVID fiasco took place, Mars was conjunct Jupiter and Saturn, which these are two malefics that are causing uh destruction to the energies of the planet Jupiter, which is called Brahmahatya dosha from a Vedic perspective. It's like the way that these niggas describe it is damn near like a great curse that's to be placed upon society whenever you see these alignments take place. But Velocity Booney, I just wanted to showcase why it's important to always go beyond the two-dimensional birth chart and get the actual distances of uh actual positions of the planets in relation to your birthday, right? You can have an exalted planet, but it's like if you're in the northern hemisphere and that planet is below the celestial equator, you feel me? The effects are lessened. Sometimes you might not even necessarily feel the effects of the exaltation. You know what I'm saying? The shit that you gotta do is remedies and shit that you gotta do to compensate to strengthen or to really reap and gain that influence. You feel me? So yeah, Velocity.